All right, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to just be going over how to handle large bulk files. Sometimes if your advertising bulk file has too many rows in it, when you go to actually import it by going up to File, Import, and clicking on your bulk file, instead of it importing into Apex, you'll get an error that just says it's too large. In that case, you're going to need to do a few extra steps, and some are a little easier than others. So there kind of is 4 different options. There's a few others, but these are the main ones that tend to work well. So the first thing to try is, if you are running a lot of sponsored brand ads, is you can just open up your bulk file as you see here in a native Google Sheets file, and you do that just by going to finding it in your Google Drive account, opening that up just in a normal Google Sheet as opposed to like inserting it into Apex. And then once you've got all 4 tabs down here inside your Google Sheet, you can just come down here and click one time on these arrows and just delete these 2 tabs here. So the only way this would help though is if you're running a lot of sponsored brand campaigns and you have a lot of rows in that tab. Like this sheet here, I'm not running any, so it's not going to do any good. But what you can do is just delete these 2 tabs, so you just have the sponsored product campaigns and then your portfolio tabs, and then you would resave that and then go back into Apex and then just go File, Import, and then you find where that file is and you can import it then. So it'll have that reduced amount of data in there and hopefully it'll import successfully. I'm going to actually import this here for the next example. So normally you'd go to Insert New Sheet, hit Import Data, and then if you had the error, this is where it would happen. So this next step is, if you are able to actually get the file into Apex, it's just running slow, and you want to just speed up the performance, what you can do is go up to the Apex menu, click on Performance Settings, Reduced Imported bulk file size, and then you can remove certain rows that you may not need during that iteration of whatever you're trying to do. You're going to go up, like we said, to Performance Settings, Reduce Imported Bulk File Size, and click on Remove Paused. And when I click this, it's going to hop over to the bulk file. So it says for huge accounts only, hit yes. And you'll see it goes over to the bulk file. It adds a couple extra columns, and it's essentially going to remove any of the campaigns, ad groups, or keywords that are set to pause. You can see how it flags it as remove, and then it'll automatically just delete those and put it back in the right sort order. And with that, you're just again reducing the number of rows in the file, and it's just going to clean the data and make it run much quicker. So that is an option. It's kind of a 2-step option though, and you do that right after step 1 and right after you insert the bulk file, and before you click initialize is when you would do that performance setting. And then the next step following that, you'd come up and just click initialize, and it would run through the main initialization sequence as normal. All right, so that's step 2. So step 3 is kind of a hybrid way to manage your campaigns if you do want to keep just a ton of extra campaigns in your active bulk file, maybe in the pause state in Campaign Manager. You can do that, and the way the hybrid option works is you're effectively going to manage anything with 1 impression or more would be managed using Apex, and anything with 0 impressions then needs to be managed in Campaign Manager. So the best way to do that is any new campaigns you're launching, maybe flag it with a certain portfolio name so you can easily filter those using Campaign Manager, just knowing that Apex is not going to be handling anything with 0 impressions. And then with that, when you go to actually download your bulk file, instead of deselecting this like is the normal standard operating procedure, you're going to actually exclude those. So it's going to exclude campaign items with 0 impressions. So that'll be any targets with 0 impressions, meaning it hasn't been seen yet essentially. It's not going to download that into your file, thereby making the file smaller. So that is another option. Just know that you aren't going to be really accounting for every target that you may be bidding on. So you'll need to handle some of those with the portfolio option I mentioned is kind of the best. And you just go into Campaign Manager, tag all your new campaigns that would have 0 impressions when you first get started with a certain portfolio ID, and then you can easily filter for those, so you're managing those accordingly. All right, so that's that one. I think that's pretty simple. This last one is a little more involved as far as getting organized, but it's my favorite, and it's effectively archiving anything that hasn't performed well in the past 60 days, or maybe it's just been paused for a really long time. All right, so the quickest sequence to archive these campaigns that just haven't been performing well is first we need to figure out all the campaigns that have targets that have been performing well. We need to figure out that list of campaigns. So the easiest way to do that is just go up here, bulk files and actions, hit all enabled targets. This is going to filter out anything that's paused, anything that is not a keyword or a ASIN for ASIN targeting. It'll say finish script when it's done. And then what I like to do is just go up to orders, or you can do units as well. Just do sort Z to A. All right, and then once you have it sorted by orders, you can just scroll down to where it changes to 0. And ideally, this bulk file, again, would be like your past 60 days worth of data, where you've got as much data there as possible when you go to kind of clean everything up. But then we're gonna, where it starts to go from 1 to 0, we're gonna start at the 0 here, and we're just going to make sure we grab all of the campaign names that have at least one order or more. So that's gonna be from here, and then we're just gonna go up, holding shift and copy that. And then we're actually gonna go over to the labs tab now and go under campaign and do Control-Shift-V to paste everything. And then if we hit Control-Shift-Alt-1, that actually removes duplicates. It's a built-in script there that you can use. So it's just got a list here of all of our campaign names that have targets in them that have one order or more. That's the criteria we've got right now. And we're just going to go back up to the labs tab. We're going to do campaign quick sort, and we want to see now every campaign related row that is not on that list, because that'll give us everything that has the zeros as far as the orders. So we're going to hit show not on list, and that's going to resort our bulk file accordingly to where we're seeing every row associated with campaign names that are not on that list that we just pasted in. So we just give that a second here to update. All right, and then once that says finish script, if we scroll down, it's just going to be 0 across the board. So that's the idea, is now we're looking at just those campaigns, and what we can do to archive them is go record type and deselect all these, just hit campaign, hit OK. And then all we need to do under this campaign status is we change that to archived. So just make sure you spell it right, archived, and then you can copy this down like that. So just that campaign level is all that needs to say archived. And then what you can do is just from this state right here, go up and hit create upload file, and that's going to take the current status kind of that file where all you updated was this campaign row for these associated campaigns. And when you upload that, after hitting create upload to Campaign Manager, and you just go here, choose file, find that file, upload it, then all of those campaigns will be archived. So when you re-download the next one, because you have this exclude terminated campaigns checked, and you hit create spreadsheet, that data will not be in there on the next time. So just know that if you go through that sequence, that all of those campaigns you're not going to be able to reactivate because you archived them. So you got to be really sure you don't want to run future ads on those campaigns. You can always recreate them if you were targeting certain things, but that is a good strategy if you do want to try to keep your account really efficient and kind of cleaned up. So just know that is a viable option for you, but it may not be something that everybody wants to do. So that's kind of why it's the fourth option here, but it is my favorite, and it is something I execute on my store. So, all right, guys, so those are the main 4 options. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can help you get set up further. Thanks.